We're live. We're live?
What?
Hey. Hey.
Yes. How are you?
Hello. Mark Sargent. Nice to see you.
Nice to be seen. And you probably got my picture. It is snowing like the Dickens up here
Yeah.
in Victoria, Canada. It was not expected. We got 8 inches and now it's blowing sideways and I'm supposed to snow for another 10 hours.
Sounds
So
nice as long as everyone's safe. Cozy inside. Looks like you've got a cup of tea. I know you like tea, not coffee. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, it's nice, but I was supposed to, I'm still scheduled to go down. My grandfather's 99th birthday is next week.
that is so cool.
It is cool, but I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Wait,
No,
I
no.
met your grandfather when I was there.
Yes. Yes, you did. He
Yes.
is he
And
is
you know what?
99 years young. No, it's not. He's 99 years old.
Okay, he didn't appear to be old in the common way we think of old. No wheelchair, no walking
No,
devices.
no,
He
nothing
was
like that.
thin,
But
fit, and sitting at a table in the I guess sort of retirement community that he was
yep,
living in,
yep.
and chatting up women. No joke, really, and
The
attractive women
man,
too.
the man has always had girlfriends, and I don't know why. I do not consider. I'm not being harsh on him, because if in case any family, I never considered him, super suave. No Rico Suave. But my God, he always had girls. Well, my original grandmother he was married to her for 52 years. She passed away. Then he married another woman for 18 years. She passed away. And then shortly after that, he got another girlfriend, in his mid 90s. It's like, what? Come on.
Why
Really?
not? If you can, if you
I
would like to
suppose.
have the companionship and love.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that certain women are really drawn to, that's super stable and
Well, he's got to be stable. He's been on Earth for 99 years.
99 years. Yeah, he's doing something right, apparently.
Exactly.
So
You know what I
anyway, we'll
forgot to
see.
say? Welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, episode number
Oh, right.
143, The Secret
So,
Show. Mark Sargent and
is
I
it really
just,
143?
yes, and I have other shows that aren't counted within that, like specialty programs and such. So, yeah.
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 All right.
I did see a picture of Melody, you, and Black Cat Kitty out in the sun a little while ago. So,
Well, I wasn't in the sun. It was just
I
bright
mean,
because it was snowing.
it looked like it was a sunny, beautiful day. So,
No. Don't be deceived. I'm looking out the when that picture was taken not even 30 minutes ago, and it is awful right now
really.
on the West Coast. And I heard it's snowing on the East Coast. I hear there's snow everywhere right now. But
I miss the snow a little bit, but I don't miss the annoyances of the snow. I lived in Michigan for a long period of my young life and then my young adult life. And, the de-icing of the car windows and
yeah.
the black ice on the roads and just
Michigan's
the
brutal.
annoyance. Yeah. But
Michigan. I had a chance to move to Wisconsin back in the 80s, and I didn't because every time I turned on the news channel, you know this, they showed those bands of color across the
yes,
United States, and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan were always in this horrible color you couldn't even recognize. It went from blue to like purple to like skull and crossbones, and it was just
tombstones.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you just look at it going, I don't want to live there.
Yeah.
And so I had a chance and I did not go, and I don't really have any regrets.
I had this weird upbringing. Well, I had a great upbringing, but it was weird in that I lived in two diametrically opposed places. One was Kalamazoo, Michigan, and the other was a couple different areas in Florida. Hollywood, Florida was one of them, and another area called Pembroke Pines, Florida. But
Nice.
Anyway, what we're talking about is Michigan and Florida, two totally different
Oh yeah.
climates. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
prefer the warm, but I love seeing snow and being around snow, not so much living in it. But then again, in the right place for the right situation, I'm sure I would love it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me
So
go into chat and say hi to people, and you go ahead with what you were going to say.
oh no. Go ahead and say hi to people.
Well, we've got Zoe Be Here in Love, and Nathan Oakley, and Martin, and Mark Offsky is here. John Fulton, Ridgeview, Synthetic Dread. Jason is there. Spectacles. I like that name, Spectacles or
Yeah.
Spectacles. Yeah.
I've seen that.
We've got Timaeus, who says black cats are the best. I have one black cat. Let's see who is here. Gregory May says wearing shorts in San Diego.
Yeah, you
All right.
suck.
Rub it in.
San Diego, one of my favorite cities. Yeah.
Synthetic Dread, Jason says, yeah, he's with you because he's near where you are and says so much snow. We've got a couple other people here. Brian Burton says hi to both of us. Carly Sunshine is here and says snow is coming to Pennsylvania as well. MG24 Pillbox is asking if Jibby is stopping by. That would be nice if he did. I may be having Jibby on next Monday, part of the Secret Hangout show, which is going to resume this coming Monday, which is just a group show, lots of different people, and Flat Earth and other related topics. So we'll see how that goes. We've got the Train Man in chat. Did I say John Fulton already? Maybe
I do not know.
Maybe I didn't. But John says, I love cats, most wonderful creatures, but those eyes, they're always watching me. It's kind of true about cats. They are.
It's true. Getting a staring contest, it's not fun.
Exactly. Sometimes I try this because I've read that cats, when they close their eyes with a long, slow dink, sort of blink like that, supposedly, some people believe that's their way of saying that they love their owner. I don't know. I'd love to believe that, but I just think that it's because cats are very, very sedate, and unless they're running around like crazy, they're very lazy, and even blinking is an effort. So that's why the long, slow blink.
Yeah.
Many others in the chat, hello, and thank you for being here. I certainly appreciate it. And if I've missed your name, Israel Adams is there. I'm scrolling. Alexander Sasha Mexico, who said, just call me Mexico. But I love saying Alexander Sasha. Sounds so dramatic. We've got Lord Stephen Cornflake in there. And he always has interesting things to say. And I'm being sarcastic. Let's read this. Show starts when Mark and Pat's number one potato minion Dell finishes his show.
Who's Dell?
Well, Dell of Beyond the Imaginary Curve.
Oh,
no minion and nothing at all like that. Lord Stephen Cornflake, feel free to believe whatever you wish.
Do you think that's actually LSC?
No, it's a troll account of some sort, or that's an actual person, but kind of using a name, someone else's name. But it's not the real LSC. Belinda Verges is here as well. And on we go. Now, why did I choose to read a troll comment? I sometimes do, because it points out the ridiculousness of troll comments. They're always about either making fun of people for having a belief system different than theirs, literally making fun, not just disagreeing or providing different evidence, that's fine. Or they're people whose sole purpose is to talk poorly about other people. And that's not so good. Barbie Miguel is also here. And there's somebody else in there. We'll just say his initials are FEN. I don't want to say the N word. That is Flat Earth, whatever. So maybe you need a better name.
Really? That's actually his name?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully it's meant in a good way, but
be careful.
Anyway, Southern Lineman is in as well. So, well, I've greeted and meet and greet everyone in the chat. So let's see what's going on in the Flat Earth. Lots of different things. Lots of good videos have come out. Of course, we're on Skiba, continuing on, just barreling ahead at the killing of the globe. And Nick of Phuket Word is just doing a wonderful job too. He came out with, I believe, 2 videos today talking about the moon and how it can be seen during the day and his theories as to why. But they're both very good and very thought-provoking.
Black Hole Interactive.
Yeah, I was just going to say Black Hole Interactive. Black Hole Interactive is a channel that I've not paid enough attention to. And I clicked on one of their videos. Do you feel the same way?
I was like, I saw a couple of things. I was going, and I'm watching. I'm like 15 minutes in. I was going, why haven't I watched more of his stuff?
Too. Exactly how I felt. They had some really good stuff. They even used a little portion of your No Forests on Flat Earth.
The article from the Atlantic.
Article, that you read, and then you also talked about in your own words. They included a little bit of that audio. And some video. Really good videos by them. So there's always new people coming in, and I know the people who are not positive about the Flat Earth theory, as some say, oh, no, it's not true. There's no new people coming in. It's shrinking every day. Flat Earth is dead. But it's not. I see new content providers all of the time. Yes, some people come and go, but I don't think they're leaving the ideas that they've come across since they went into the Flat Earth realm and started digging around and figuring things out. I think that they might have removed themselves from Flat Earth as a YouTuber And maybe some of the reasons are because of drama, because of family and personal reasons.
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, you've seen this as much as anybody, where especially if you have a close-knit family and friends, if they find out you've started making flat earth videos, they will come down on you. You know, a lot of people that are in the community, we take it for granted that we don't get that much pressure from the outside. And for every one of those people, you remember, look at Rob Skiba. You know, he pulled down the entire website for several days.
I remember that.
Because he was catching a whole bunch of crap. And it happens. So, but I don't believe, again, you know, find me someone who left and went against flat earth. You know,
Tiger Dan.
Well, Tiger Dan, he's again 99% retention rate. He's the only guy we know of that even tried.
Osman, whomever that person really is, supposedly was a flat earther and then became not a flat earther.
I don't
Jamie, fake spaceman in space, fake clouds in the sky.
Did he turn? Did he turn though?
Yeah, he did. I don't know what his name is now or where he is or what he's doing, but yes, he did turn against flat earth. Rain Griffin. I'm just bringing out these names, and I know other people in chat are saying, and so-and-so, and so-and-so. But I do have to say about all the people that we've just mentioned, I'm not saying that if you turn against flat earth, you're a little bit, people are not going to like this, broken on the inside. But some of those people were not using their rational mind because of the way they treated others on their way out the door. If they just said, you know what, I'm having second thoughts about this. Guys, enjoy yourselves. I've really enjoyed this. I'm going to have to remove myself and think about it. Okay, fine. But when you leave, and as you leave, walking out the door, you're insulting other people, making fun of everything you used to believe in, belittling people. Then it makes you think, man, you're unhinged.
Yeah, let me rephrase my initial statement, which is find me somebody that turned around and went against the Joe Rogan example, that came back against flat earth, citing a whole bunch of evidence saying flat earth is wrong and here's why. Oh yeah, we've seen people that will go against certain flat earth people. You know, they'll make personal attacks, but nobody's gone out and said, okay, I'm now against flat earth, it's wrong, here's why. Who are these people? Tiger Dan got 5 into, you know, by the way, it's been a year since we've seen him now. Yes. Do you realize that? Time flies. He said, I'm going to do a 10-part series against flat earth. He made it to 5 and then vanished. And I still make comments every once in a while on some, you know, I'll try to reply, you know, because his words are out there supposedly in different videos. Yeah. He's never responded. He's never, and the videos are all still up.
Yeah. I emailed him. I've said this many times, twice after he initially departed. And I was supportive of him in the beginning when he was looking at the maps and trying to make the flight paths work. And I'm supportive of anybody doing really anything when it comes to the discovery of flat earth or talking about it or making a song about it, whatever it is that you need to do because you're so deeply affected by this whole thing. And, you know, he did reply back to me that, yeah, he's okay. But after that, I only saw him in certain different people's chats or not chats, excuse me, comments on videos that had been already rendered to YouTube, and they were sort of derogatory. So you know what? I wish Tiger Dan the best. I wish all of the people who
I do too
had this happen the best. I have nothing against any of these people. I wish we would have handled their exit a little more gracefully. But
with the level of enthusiasm that flat earth generates, we will see that people will leave the room every once in a while. It's no different than a giant party. Some people can only hang out at a party so long. Some of the diehards, they can stay there for, you know, it's like, I'm never leaving this place. Other people's like, okay, I'm getting burned out, I'm going to go get a pizza. And then they come back. Some people say, well, you know, this party blows, I'm leaving. And they never leave. Everyone comes back eventually, as far as I can tell.
There have been a bunch of people who said, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. And then next you know, they're making comments in your video. You're like, wait, didn't you leave?
Did you quit? People, when this thing breaks into the next level, we will see people that we thought were long gone. They'll be back. It's like, I was totally into it. I was there since the beginning. Oh, really? Really, were you?
Kofu72 says last off the dance floor. That's Paul. And if you've not subscribed to Kofo72's channel, he does lots of stuff on Facebook. He put out a really good video today. Well, he puts out great videos all the time. So go sub his channel. Did I say Carly Sunshine was here? Nora of No One's Flower says, don't slam the door on your way out.
I know the flat earth door. The best part is that door is always open. It's never locked, and people come and go.
Yeah, it's a wonderful door. It's a beautiful door. It's lovely when you walk inside. It even smells fragrant. So come on in.
Nice.
Nice. Let's see. I want to say hello to Persian Scribe and Dorhe Daka, who's put out some more good videos. Let's see. Gregory May says that he wishes everyone the best too, going back to what I had said before. Tom Disson is here and is talking about something that I'm not sure. I won't read it because it doesn't make sense. It's about interviews.
Oh, wait, I think
Marku Keenan. Yeah, we got to talk about your interview in a minute, and maybe he's referring to that. Marku Keenan is here, says, bless you all. Markovsky, Retro Rich Alex says, trolls are only interested in chaos, but they're not even awake. Don't worry about them. They'll wake up, and it'll be too late. Maybe it's never too late, though, but I understand where he's coming from with that.
I'm not worried about trolls for one reason, and that is they still have to follow the rule of trolldom, which is you remain anonymous. Find me. Almost none of these trolls will email me. I get waves and waves and waves of emails. 99.9% of them are great emails. Same thing with phone messages. I have my phone number out there, and with the exception of a few drunk callers, and people are like at a group, you can hear them in a group, like daring each other. Oh, you got to call him, dude. Usually like a high school. Most of the calls are really, really good because trolls they want to remain anonymous. They hide. That's their weapon. They hide behind anonymity.
Well, it's my experience as well. I've received only, I'm going to think, 3 negative emails in my life. I won't say who they are from, but if I were to say who they were, you'd say, yeah, that's the kind of person that would say that kind of thing.
Probably.
3 negative emails, and I've been doing this since August of 2015. Now, are there negative comments? Not really very many on my videos, and not because I delete them. I don't get that many on my videos, but they're on other people's videos who do this sort of kind of a gang stalking thing about myself and others. And you'll see them more videos with my name in the title or my picture in it or some kind of crazy accusation.
Right.
That's a form of trolling. And those people are not anonymous. But because they're hundreds or thousands of miles away and they can get together and in a group and bully, they might as well be anonymous, which is unfortunate.
I will get the occasional. You saw me. I went in and because I generally will avoid comment sections altogether, both pro and con.
Yes.
But I did go in finally and fed the trolls a few scraps here and there just to have fun with it, just to see what was out there.
Right. And that was on our last video.
That was on our last video.
Last Wednesday.
There were enough shots. If I see the negative ratings, a little bit higher than normal, I will go in and say, okay, what's going on? And if it's all personal attacks, it's okay. Let's start doing this. I can throw some punches.
Well, it was on your upload on your channel, upload of our video. On my video from our last Wednesday, it was pretty good, very positive. But I did get a bunch of people coming by from the Aaron Raw. Is that how you say his name?
Oh, right. Yeah. Aaron Raw. Yeah.
And Aaron Raw, we talked about, or you talked about, I don't have much experience.
I talked about him.
Right. And that's where the negative comments from supporters of Aaron Raw, who is a atheist, believer.
Pseudo atheist, anti-evolution. No, I'm sorry. No, pro evolution. Wow.
Yes.
Pro evolution against creationists. That's his specialty.
Right.
Got 115,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he was supposed to debate me. And I said, look, we need somebody better than the self-proclaimed president of the Texas Atheist Society. It's that's all.
People came over to my channel and definitely hit your channel, and we're saying all sorts of things that he's a worthy opponent, he's a scientist, he's the one that you should debate. It's not really about, the topic isn't really about that. What you want to debate is somebody who's saying that we live on a globe, and that's where their point is. Exactly.
The evolution. Fine, you're pro evolution. That's great. That does not help what we're trying to do here. because I don't hate evolution. So and you saw my comments, like, look, make a video.
Your comments that are what you would say, or you were hitting the trolls. Come on, Mark, you were hitting the trolls with a feather. You were. I'm not putting you down.
Oh no,
but I'm saying you were so gentle and kind and just being very informative. You weren't saying bleep 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 bleep.
Oh no. I will. That's not how I do it. I will kill them with kindness.
Yes.
And usually that enrages them even more. A perfect example would be Eric Dubé. I made it to the #1 spot of his enemies list, and I never said a bad thing about it. It's like, oh, Eric, yeah, he's a pretty good guy. Enemy #1. They hate me for doing that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
again, with Aaron Roth,
against Eric,
make a freaking video. Have him. I'm really surprised once I started digging into his stuff that he hasn't addressed it. And then I realized, oh, you know what? It's going to be kind of tough for him to address it, because it blurs the lines between his position and creationism. So he's like, I don't want to touch that. And he still hasn't. I haven't gotten an email from his camp. I don't think he's going to. If
he made the video addressing Flat Earth, then you would feel more that it was the correct thing to do to potentially debate him. But it doesn't really make any sense. It would be like me getting my neighbor next door and saying, hey, well, you want to debate him?
There's nobody, everyone in the Flat Earth community knows this. Nobody's on the fence when it comes to this. We need to know where he stands. You can't come in and say, oh, I might be against it. I might be, that's not how it works. You've got to let us know where you are. Just because somebody asks you to debate me it would be the shortest argument in the world. He's going, evolution's the greatest thing ever. I'm going, yeah, I don't hate evolution. And then there'd be these crickets on the other end. So
one of the most annoying things is when you talk to somebody about Flat Earth and they'll say, instead of you're crazy or very interesting, they'll say something along the lines of, well, I can see how it could be flat or round or a triangle. It all depends on your perspective and how you look at it. And maybe it's something different to each person.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that.
Don't like that. Don't like that one. No. We've got a bunch of new people that have joined us in chat. Ranger Tex is here. I mentioned Persian Scribe already, and John Wah. John says to debate Flat Earth math. Flat Earth math has been debated before. Flat Forest is here as well. John Watson as well. Shane Corning is here. Needs a cup of coffee, so he's going out to get one. And just want to say hello to everybody who's here. Mike Flatford, did I say that already? Maybe I did. Andres is here as well. Really I just saw somebody, Vasilis. Maybe I'm saying the name wrong. Vagabond is here as well. So Scott T, I just saw. Ben Matrix Deco just showed up. And Flat Forest says we should have been taught perspective in school. Hi Fruity U is here. That's a really wonderful woman. Some really great people in Flat Earth. And I'd had this situation with my cat, and I know it's not Flat Earth related, but because on my Facebook, my personal Facebook is also a Flat Earth page, and I post relative things. I post things that might be slightly relative to Flat Earth. And since there's been a joke made a long time ago about my cats not being real and they're CGI, they're kind of now known as CGI cats, and even if they're real. But one of my cats became ill and was urinating blood in the sink, and no real reason why. Although the cats moved from Houston, Texas to the UK, and then back, and then to an apartment, and then to a house where there have been people hammering and drilling and in and out. I think it might be stress. This is a cat that can get stressed easily.
Yeah.
And Hi Fruity asked me how my cat is doing, and it's the cat Flynn, who went to the vet, had a bunch of tests. Oh my gosh, you cannot imagine how much those tests cost. I don't even want to even think about it. But anyway, turned out that they think it's a kidney infection, and he had an antibiotic shot, which I'm not into drugs, giving them to my animals or myself. But in this case, it seemed to be the smartest and quickest way to resolve the cat's pain. So I did. And many people on my Facebook have given me words of sympathy, shown great empathy, and given me suggestions as to what to do to help the cat, from baking soda to apple cider vinegar to, so many wonderful suggestions. So if you later watch this video and you have a suggestion for a cat who might have a kidney problem, not kidney disease, he's only 2, but or urinary tract problem, put in the comment section. things that you might do for your pets, dogs or cats, that might work for you. But I'm definitely going to try apple cider vinegar. It sounds like a really good thing to do. So it's not flat
Hey,
Earth related, but since it's one of the CGI
you
cats
know,
getting sick.
look, we will talk about non-flat Earth related things
Yeah,
from
because
time to
we're
time.
people, we're humans.
Like I'm gonna terribly segue into what are you wearing? By the way, I
is this
noticed
a crazy sweater?
it looks very science fiction.
It is. It's a sci-fi sweater, really. I mean, I have no idea what
It
this
does. I mean, I could have sworn I saw somebody wear that in the Hunger Games.
I know, look, I'm ready to, I don't know what I'm ready to do. Either captain some sort of ship in quote unquote space or be in the Hunger Games. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
but they're both good.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we lost a member of the sci-fi community, an older actor. I didn't realize he was 70.
Yesterday, I think, right?
Yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But most people wouldn't know his name anyway. He played Apollo in the original Battlestar Galactica from the late 70s.
I'm looking him up.
Do you remember his name?
Apollo and Battlestar Galactica.
Again, even if you said his name, I would not know his name. And I watched every episode of that show, including the 1980 version when they went
You know
to Los
what?
Angeles.
You will remember his name. When I saw the name, I'm like, I know that name. Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
That doesn't ring a bell?
I mean, it's a catchy name. It's a good Hollywood name, but it's
Yeah.
not. Well, if you would have told me this the other day, it's like, oh, Richard Hatch died. In fact, I think the Peanut Gallery on my show told me Richard Hatch died. I'm going,
Ooh.
yeah, and I had to look. I'm like punching his name, and it's like, oh, Apollo. Okay.
He died of pancreatic cancer, and my dad was diagnosed with and had pancreatic cancer, but after one round of chemo, he was rushed to the hospital and then died a couple days later. He was rushed to the hospital from vomiting, and he died not of pancreatic cancer. He died suddenly, much, much quicker than the year-long diagnosis, the year-long time frame that they gave him to live. Prognosis, not diagnosis. And he basically died of pneumonia and a blood clot. So pancreatic cancer, if you have it and live for a while, it can be a horrible, painful, hellish way to go. So hopefully Richard Hatch died like my father of something else quickly and didn't have to go through all of that. He played Captain Apollo, as we said, from 78 to 79. He got a Golden Globe. They need to change that name. He got that for Best Actor in a Television Series. His character, Tom Zarek, he played that, a different character, in the 2003 reimagined series. And I'm going to show a picture of him here.
You know, flash it up on the thing.
Okay, there we go. Oh, my
yep,
lights. There we
lights,
go.
Got their stage hand in the way.
I got it right there.
Okay.
Yeah, my light fixture was reflected in that. Anyway, sad, not really though. I mean, sad that he had pancreatic cancer, but when people who played in sci-fi roles die, you wonder if there is something after death, heaven, or we don't know, another realm. They wonder if when, let's just say you leave the body and you can see what's happening, and then you go up to a heaven and you see the flat earth and you think, wow, my whole sci-fi career was a total lie. So that would not be too good.
No, but at the same time, I think you understand at that point.
Yeah. So you did this interview last night, and I think that's what somebody in chat was talking about. Well, let's tell people about the interview. You were on a show, and it was based out of Boston. It was an actual an actual radio station, a news station. And
it was a news radio station of all things. I was contacted not that long ago, maybe a couple weeks, by WBZ out in Boston, 1030 radio news station, and I didn't really even look them up until recently. Beforehand, because the host actually. So I was working with a producer, and then the host Bradley J contacted me and he sent me an email to go, hey, just want to know, are you serious or is this a put on? Is this a gag? And I sent him all the links. I said, it's totally real. But even after I sent him all the links and all the material, as I tried to hit him as hard as I could with this stuff, he still, during the opening of that interview, his opening thing was just want to ask you, am I being punked? Is this a sham? Is this going, no, man,
crazy.
it's not.
It's crazy
and
because he could go everywhere and find your name. He could find
Yeah.
all sorts of videos that you've done and your website. And I
Yeah.
mean, if you're doing all that just to punk him, then well, that's a long way to go for a joke.
Well, yeah, my opening lines, I was going, look, the Flat Earth Clues is going to be 2 years old here on Saturday, and time flies. And I said, if I'm punking you, I've been doing this for a long time. It's an awful long time to pull a prank. And he still was having a hard time. It was a hard time singing. But the bigger than that, I was still trying. And by all means, please, I already put the interview out there so you can listen to it. And it sounds a lot better on when I put it out, because I record my end in high quality audio and then just let him do, otherwise it's the opposite, because I had to call in. So if you listen from his show, it just sounds like I'm on the phone. But when we did it, I recorded my end and he sounded like he was on the phone. But I'm still trying to figure out why he did the show in the first place, because I went through his backlog of stories. He's never touched a conspiracy in his life.
No, he was talking about Trump and global warming on other shows that he did, and I thought,
oh yeah, what wine is good in Italy, and what I want for Christmas this year. Really super fluffy pieces, and so why? And he let me go the whole distance. Let me stay on, but that was mostly because the phone lines were blowing up. And I warned him, I said, look, you do this and it's going to get, it's going to get pretty hairy. And the calls, you've heard some of the calls. Some of these people were relatively civil. Others weren't as civil. It wasn't as bad as the Shade 45 interview, but they were still coming at me. And I still enjoyed it. And it was in, CBS affiliate. Great. So
yeah, I understand why you did it. Do every interview you can. Why not? You're gonna one person might be touched by that, and by that show that guy Jay Loust on the Boston radio station did the interview with you. One person might be looking into flat Earth right now, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, why not? Or he may bring it up to someone down the road. That's usually how it goes anyway. He's going to bring it up to somebody else in the radio community. It's like, look, I had this guy on. It's going to sound crazy, but he sounded at the very least like he was convinced. He didn't convince me. Maybe you should talk. I mean, that's how Rob Skiba got involved. He was listening to Canary Cry, with just listening, driving, and he knew those guys and contacted. Was like, look, is this real? Is this what's happening? I got to get this guy on, and contacted through them. But that being said, let me segue into something different, because as I was finishing that one, I got another interview request from, and I want to ask the chat room.
Okay.
If I should do that. Up until now, and I will ask you as well.
Okay.
Because I have done literally anyone who's wanted to interview me, I have done it. If they ask, I don't care where you're from. If you are a freaking pastor in the middle of Mississippi and you've got a show, and I've done them. I've done AM radio in the middle of Alabama, a local pastor congregation who he's just preaching to his church. I have not turned down anybody, but I got this request, and I'm even though I'm a flat earther, I'm a little hesitant. Here's why. And you can look this up if you want, but I'd like the chat room to chime in as well. The interview is going to be, if I do it, is literally called the tinfoilhatclub.com. tinfoilhatclub.com. It's literally the tinfoil. You know how we always talk metaphorically about tinfoil hat people and all that crap?
Yes.
This is the literal version of that, meaning they actually go down that road of tinfoil hats will protect you from, in fact, preparing all those who are targeted individuals of radio frequency and mind control.
So, I mean, are they just doing it as a fun, jokey, interesting title?
No, I'm sure they're not, because anyone that they're opening up with is about as fringe as you could get. In fact, before Flat Earth came on the scene, I'm sure these guys were considered the edgiest of the edge, right? So, and I'm reading down here, and they say apparently this week is Flat Earth Week. I'm reading this. When Flat Earth, a round ball theory show. This week will be dedicated to understanding the flat Earth theory and round ball Earth teachings for the past 500 years. Blah blah blah, and make your own decision on the matter after hearing the facts, and so on and so on.
Well,
and
I say
they asked me to come. Just do it.
Do it.
All right.
Anybody else have an opinion on that? Just say,
should I do? I mean, the only reason is, look, I'm going to be posting, I post the interviews, like, interview 90, what is this going to be? 97, 95, I don't know, whatever it is. Interview 90 something tinfoilhatclub.com. Does
That's
it
the
come
name of
off
their
as
website.
being?
No,
All right.
it's cool.
All right. I just thought it might be. Yeah.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's interesting.
It was the only one that ever gave me pause just because of the sheer name.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not as bad as, say, me doing Satanists local chapter 666.com or something like that.
Right. Or stupidbrainlesslosers.com.
Exactly. Yeah. But all right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll contact him.
That's
and I will
next.
do this.
That's next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's next Tuesday.
Want to say hi to Stranger XX and Emily Suzanne, who's here, and says, Mark, I just got done watching your interview from yesterday and I thought it went great. So that's nice.
I thought it went well too. Thanks.
Yeah, nice. Let's see. Somebody in chat said that one of the people that called in was YouTuber P. Myres. So I didn't notice that, but maybe so.
Well, I promoted it during Strange World.
Oh,
that
yes,
was the best. That was the best part. I said, look, anyone wants to call in that they couldn't call, because I was having phone problems at the beginning of my show. Anyone that couldn't call in, by all means, here's the number for the Boston show. But the radio guy was savvy enough that he was trying to avoid any calls that were outside the Boston area, outside the Massachusetts area.
Why?
Because then I mean, he's not dumb.
Oh, so they could be plants or something.
Yeah, it's like there's calls coming in from California. It's like, all right, how do these guys? In fact, he even said one on air. He's like, how did you? I felt bad. He goes, how did you know that Mark was going to be on the show? Oh, I heard it from a friend.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it's like, well, and how did he know? I don't know. And yeah, so he knew. It's like, all right, well, you should respect that I'm going to bring people in if I can.
I want to say hello to Pale Queens. And I think I said Flat Earth Crush. Felix Siam in Michigan, speaking of cold places and Michigan, as we were earlier. Tom Disson is in. And somebody's asking about my eyes. Yes, I have contact lenses and I still not that good at putting them in, and they make my eyes red, and I guess I'll get used to it, or I just don't know yet. I like having them because I don't have to have glasses off and on, or glasses on and then a mark on my nose, which I think it's probably still there, but it's finally starting to fade. But I'm really bad at putting them in. I've watched lots of YouTube tutorials. Do you know how many YouTube tutorials there are on how to take your contacts out or how to put your contacts in? Well, we all probably know because there are YouTube tutorials on everything you can imagine. How to lace your Doc Martens a special way.
How to change an oil filter on a 1975 Chevy Nova.
Everyone should know.
There's literally, in fact, I went on YouTube just for, I didn't even think about it because I was coming up with, and I won't tell you on air, but I was coming up with new music tracks, trying to find new cool music tracks for some upcoming promotional things that I'm going to be doing. Yes. And for something mysterious that will be revealed next week.
Yes.
Or actually this weekend. And so I looked up, and you'll remember these 12-inch vinyl singles.
Oh, sure. I've got 45s in the Wurlitzer jukebox, and I've got
well,
albums.
You know what I mean. There was they had 45s, they had albums, and then they had maxi singles and then 12-inch singles, and those came out in the late 70s, early 80s. Oh God! And I bought those to death. Anyway, they're all online now. They're all on YouTube. Oh, so I can just go on. It's like 12-inch singles or 12-inch singles vinyl, and I can download them and then rip the audio out. And hey, here's my collection that was gone years ago.
I got rid of so many albums. My dad owned a radio station, so it was an AM radio station, but it was at the time. Let's see, he owned it in the 60s through the 80s, and I was in high school in the 70s, so I got a lot of albums because he'd get promotional albums. Now the promotional albums would have like a little cut mark on the album cover sometimes, or it would be written promo only across the actual inner part of it on the label of the record itself. But I had a crazy collection. But of course, as time went by and as we moved into the tapes, digital age, and then we moved into CDs, I got rid of all of them, and I could kick myself now. Although a lot of the records my dad brought home were more to his taste than mine. So he would say, "Oh, I love this new this album from the Beach Boys, and I don't like the Beach Boys, or Anna Nancy Wilson Hart. He'd bring that home, and it just wasn't my thing at the time, but I did, listen to it. Plus, when your dad gives you something, at least for me, it was, I was really happy to have it. So
if anyone wants
to kept those records,
if anyone wants a cool non-flat Earth documentary to download, I think it's called Downloaded, which is the story of Napster. Which is a fascinating story of how that just decimated the music industry, because you were giving basically every kid in college a music store for nothing. And, we considered a small little crime, but everyone did it. And it was amazing to see. And once it was done, basically when even though they shut down Napster and did all these things, through that, the MP3 was born. And once the MP3 was created, that's it.
Martin Liedtke is in chat and says he met the Beach Boys. That's kind of interesting.
I'll be darned.
I met Robert Palmer, which was a really weird story. I was working at a radio station, WRNO, in New Orleans. The station itself at the time was in the Central Business District, or CBD as they call it, which is very close to the French Quarter, but not in the French Quarter. Anyway, I was working at WRNO as a disc jockey. I did the afternoon drive portion. And during that time, during the time that I worked at the radio station, they would send you out, if you wanted to go to different places that were having concerts, so you could introduce, it was sort of an honor, you didn't get paid to do it, to introduce various bands. And at the House of Blues in New Orleans, which is in the French Quarter, at night, there was Robert, did I say Plant? No, I meant
Palmer.
Robert Palmer. Okay, good.
Palmer.
I'm glad
Not
I said
Robert
Palmer.
Plant.
I actually went to a Robert Palmer and Plant actually together, of not Robert Palmer, but they actually were also in New Orleans. But that's
nice.
Story. But anyway, I got to introduce Robert Palmer. I didn't mean to turn you on and all the rest of those songs.
Yeah.
And before you go introduce a band, and some who are watching have probably done this too, they talk to you backstage, not the artist, but a manager or somebody, and says things like, I want you to say this or promote this album, or they give you some script to read and you kind of quickly memorize it. And then you go out on stage and it's blinding. You have that brief moment of, wow, this must be what it's like if you're an actual performer. You can't really see anybody in the audience. And it was a House of Blues, so it wasn't that big. Yeah. But one of the things they told me, aside from, just mention his tour and introduce him, and I welcomed everybody on behalf of the radio station, WRNO, and we'd given away tickets. So I kind of greeted the people that had won the free tickets, and people were saying, hey, and it was great. But the person, before I went on stage, said to me one thing that I'll never forget, which was, well, when you introduce him, remember, don't touch your lips to the microphone. And
because
he has a thing
against it.
Germs, I guess.
Yeah.
But no one, and I'd introduced a lot of bands in my time in radio. No one ever said to do that. Don't touch your lips to the microphone.
People are weird that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who wants to get sick and all that? But he doesn't really understand that my lips would not make a difference when it comes to germs. It would be saliva, etc., that is being, this is gross, is being projected through my speech onto the microphone. So he died anyway, regardless of whether my lips touched the microphone. So
again, there's weird stories. I think it was Joan Crawford. She was one of the people, like a plumber used the toilet in the bathroom he was working on, and she had it ripped out.
That's insanity.
It happens. Huh. By the way, thank you to everyone. I'm talking to the people in chat right now.
Yes.
Everyone that said all the kind words about my latest video, Your World is a Globe, Are You Sure?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a lot of fun making that. I basically came up with a mock argument between myself, a little debate between myself and a scientist, some casual conversation. And because I haven't had much of a chance to debate scientists, and I thought it turned out pretty good. So everybody that said nice things about it, thank you for that.
I do want to say, Nora of No One's Flower says that I killed Robert Palmer with my lips. Well,
no.
I've been accused of less, actually. Funny. Gosh. Synthetic Dread has a very weird thing. I'll read it. He met Janet Jackson getting her nipple tattooed.
That's funny.
That's a
Was that
crazy
before or
story.
after the wardrobe malfunction during the famous Super Bowl incident?
Yes, exactly. Dina Walker says she loves the video you just spoke about, Mark.
Oh, thank you. I saw her comment on that.
Yeah.
It
Let's
was a lot of
see.
fun.
Going back up here, we have got oh, somebody named Jack Black came in. That's a troll. Let me see if I can view deleted message. And if it's not too profane, maybe I will read it, because sometimes the trolls seems like whatever that, it won't allow me to on my phone. The trolls, if you, their messages are so ridiculous. It seems like we could shame them as a tribe into going away. And I'm not talking about people with different viewpoints about things or critical commentary. I'm talking about straight up nasty trolling.
You and I have had this conversation. Trolls have been around literally once the first internet forum board was created, and you were allowed to go in, because again, it's the being anonymous, that part of the internet which I hate so much. Not that we should all be registered on the internet, but that's what creates them. Once they figure out, it's like, wait, I don't have to use my real name and I can say everything I want. Some of these people are filled with, they've got a lot of hate built up. I'm going to start saying stuff that I could never say to my family and friends. I'm just going to lay it all out there. Years worth of angst, just going to pour it into the system. And unfortunately, it feeds on itself, because one of those guys, once you're on the receiving end of that, if you're another troll, it's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and just degrades from there. It's been around since day one. Yeah.
Well, some trolls are just trolls who have a sad, lonely life, and they feel that the only way they can make themselves feel better is to put others down. Others are people who don't feel that their voice is being heard, and instead of actually doing something productive, will instead go ahead and taunt others for their ability to do something productive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, some trolls just have probably mental issues. So, can't do anything about that except wish them well. I want to say hello to this Lana. And I said hello to Vagabond earlier. I'm not sure. Hey, Teresa Gordon is here, who's also greeting this Lana. Michael Kilpatrick is in the chats. And, ooh, there's a horrible name in there now, too, which I won't even mention. So I think people just want to come up with horrible names of their channel, just taunting me in a way to see if I'll slip up.
Yeah, like it. Oh, you're going to do the whole Ron Burgundy thing where you read anything that's on the teleprompter?
Yes, exactly. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah, never going to happen.
Dan Winfield is here.
What'd you think of I know it's the early versions of the furniture, but what did you think of the coffee table? Pretty cool, huh?
Oh, it's fantastic. Chris Pontius, right? Is his name?
No, this is a different
it's not Chris
guy.
Pontius.
Chris Pontius makes he's going to make kind of footstool coffee table stuff, and this is not supposed to. I don't think this is conflicting with Chris Pontius stuff. No, this is Corey Amundson, Amundson. Completely different. When he goes, oh yeah, I'm making flat earth coffee tables. I'm already in the works of making them for different people. I was going, wow, that's really, really neat.
Yeah.
And I can see the potential. Once you start getting into it, you can really go all out with these things.
You know what would be a really good thing for this thing that we're not able to talk about right now, that's really exciting and amazing, and then it's coming up sometime soon, and it will be announced sometime very soon, that thing that we can't really talk about.
Right, that thing.
One of those coffee tables were part of that thing.
Oh, definitely. Look, it is. Well, we can't actually talk about it, but yeah, it is going to be really interesting to see all the different things that people make.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Once they have an actual venue, it's going to be something. And this is going to be one of them. I guarantee it. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where he is right off the top of my head, but I totally. Yeah.
It looks very cool.
Yeah.
So if you want to see the video about the flat earth coffee table, check it out. It's on Mark Sargent's channel. Yeah, just type in, don't even have to go to my channel. Just type in flat earth coffee table. I guarantee there's only one of them out there. This Lana has an interesting comment, and it says, Lana ponders about the Milky Way galaxy because it is in the shape of a bow, like the rainbow. Lana believes this is where the dome was stained from the waters above. And I think the word stained is wrong, or my contexts are really bad. Maybe strained.
Stained? Maybe.
Separated, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know if separated would have been converted to stained, but who knows?
Well, I've got contact for near vision and contact for far vision. And I told the person who provided my contacts for me that I think I need a better up close contact. You know what I mean? One that is a little clearer than this one. So until then, it's like, ugh. Anyway.
Did you see the Max Malone video where just recently where he was talking? I love Max Malone because it's not the stuff that he finds, it's the stuff he doesn't find. He notices things that are missing. It's one of his gifts. It's not like, oh yeah, look at this. I'm the first person. He notices stuff that, he was the guy that drew me into the whole, there's nobody with a camera has turned around, done a 180 or better outside of a spacecraft. And then he was talking about, because we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of the International Space Station. And
20 years of lies. Way to keep
20
it
years.
NASA.
He goes, don't you think it's interesting that 20 years of adding parts to this thing and no one has a time lapse of any part of this thing being built at all?
Yeah.
And he goes, in addition, 20 years of people going up, and supposedly coming down from this thing, and there isn't a single video of somebody going up there, where you're following the spacecraft from the spacecraft's point of view all the way to the ISS, and then follow the guy already in. It's always they're getting near the ISS, fade to black. 3 hours later, hey, we're inside.
Same thing as live docking of the shuttle coming, and then it like fizzes out.
Yeah,
and then next thing you know, hey, we're inside.
Oh yeah, here we are in our khakis and our no shoes, and the belts sit really tight. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and those people probably aren't wearing tucked in polo shirts and tight belts and khaki pants in their real life. Let's hope not.
No.
Let's see. We've got Bleeze D's in here. Did I say Arwen? Well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but hello to Arwen. His birthday just happened February 6th, so happy belated birthday, Arwen.
Happy birthday,
Curious
Arwen.
Life Kirk of a Flat Earther is here. And let's see. Big L is in the chat. Plasma John Doe, hey, hello to you. Nice to see you in the chat here. Somebody else. Oh, a really wonderful woman. Supawan Green is her name. So go check out her channel, Supawan, and then like the color green. And she has met in person, I believe, with Nick of Phuket Word. So it's nice when people have met for some reason. It just makes you feel cool.
Phuket Word, if I'm not mistaken, he's in the same country as Eric, right? Eric,
yes. And Eric appeared one time, maybe more, in one of the live chats that Nick did. He was there commenting in chat right next to me.
If Thailand's not that big, if I'm not mistaken, have they ever even thought about kind of getting together? I mean, Eric's never met anyone as far as I know.
Anybody know in chat, has Eric ever met, or maybe Sopuan Green would know because she's met Nick of Phuket Word. Have they met? Because I know Eric supports the work of Phuket Word, of course.
You'd think that we'll find out soon enough how this is all going to play out, because Eric has a chance to meet people, I think, soon.
In the top secret thing we're not supposed to talk about?
The top secret thing we're not supposed to talk about.
Stop talking about it.
Right. I know Robbie's like going, why are you doing this? You're killing me.
Anyway, so Juan Green says she would love to meet Eric. Let's see. Jack Black says some weird thing that Eric met Patricia's sister one time. No, that's never happened. My sister's never been to Thailand, and I doubt Eric's ever been to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Well, she now lives in Byron Center, which is outside of Grand Rapids. My sister's daughter, who's in law school, almost 22, she's getting married in August. So I get to go back to Michigan and be a bridesmaid in the wedding. So that'll be cool. And I'm going to do a Flat Earth meetup, by the way, and I'll tell this to Felix who's in Michigan. So I'm going to be in the Grand Rapids area in late August for my niece's wedding. And I'm going to do a meetup while I'm there. Nothing special, just find a place recommended to be by my niece or my sister, to like a coffee house or maybe Flat Earth bowling. Wouldn't that be cool? And just see how many Michiganders would be willing to show up. And, that's what I'm planning on doing in August. So a sort of nothing fancy like the Flat Earth meetup I had here in Houston. Just Flat Earth bowling. That's what I'll do.
I used to bowl a lot.
I loved bowling. I loved it in junior high, and I was part of a team, part of a league on the
Oh yeah.
weekends.
Yeah. I ran 2 corporate bowling teams, not because I wanted to, but because one of our clients was Columbia 300 bowling balls.
Oh, okay.
And so we traded them a support contract for the whole company, getting free bowling balls and bags and shirts. And there was enough people in the company that we actually had 2 teams within the company. One was called Beer and Smokes, and the other one was called Not All There. That was my team.
Yeah,
And
figured.
we ended up being in the finals together. And bowling season, people don't understand. Bowling is a long freaking season. They only stop for the summer. It's a 9-month season.
Wait a minute. Real professional bowlers have a season?
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're in a league, like an actual league, you're going. The only time you don't go is during the summer. The rest of it, you are there freaking every week, and it's one of the more expensive things you can do as a little sports hobby, because you're always, it's not the bowling, it's what you're doing while you're there. You're always getting food and drinks and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes on. The season lasts for 9 months. It's just forever.
You know who's a good bowler? Matrix Decode.
Really?
Decode. Yeah. He has a video of himself bowling several years earlier. He lived in Singapore for a while, and he was bowling a 2-handed bowling, and it's amazing what he can do. So go check out Ben Matrix Decode's channel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he bowls now, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do a bowling party in late August, and I'll let people know about it, and it'll be in Michigan. So
Cool.
that'll be kind of cool. Shane Corning says, I go bowling. That's kind of fun. I think bowling would be a fun meetup, don't you think?
I think it would too.
And if nothing else, I'll just bowl all alone.
Oh, I was going through the videos since last week, and of course, several people have already sent me the how Pythagoras and
Eratosthenes. Oh, you're saying it.
Eratosthenes.
Yeah.
Gave us the Flat Earth Trump card. That's basically the name of the video.
Yes.
By Rob Skiba. Brilliant. Rob's not letting this thing go. He's the trolls now are coming at him saying, no, you're missing this. And Rob just keeps just piling it on. I love it.
Daymethyl tripped with me. I think I may have said hello or may have not, but Spectacles has put the link to the Flat Earth table, so you can watch that in the chat of the live show. If not, you'll find it.
Just the Flat Earth coffee table.
Flat Earth. Just go on Mark's channel and check it out.
With music by Buckaroo Banzai.
What else is going on? Bunch of stuff. Boy, Jack Black keeps getting his comments deleted. My chat has moderators, and they're just people that I like. They don't really do much except maybe warn somebody, hey, lighten up. And then eventually we'll block their comments. But anybody can go in, most anybody anyway, and comment freely and openly. But coming in and just using profanity and making fun of people, what's that all about? How is that helping anybody or anything? How is it even helping you to do it? It's not. Wake up.
Why do bullies push around nerds at high school?
This is true. Why do they?
Bad childhoods, usually.
Yes, that's probably quite true. I one time got beat up by a bully when I moved to a new neighborhood. Yes. I wasn't expecting it. My sister and brother and I were in Hollywood, Florida, where we lived in a development called Emerald Hills, and I might have been 10. And I was the eldest. I am the eldest of 3 kids, and we're all 2 years apart. And my sister's next, and then my brother. And we were really young, and we were walking around. It's a nice development, or maybe it was a nice development. I'm not sure if Emerald Hills is still a nice development in the Hollywood, Florida area. But anyway, a nice development, nice houses, and we wanted to walk around our neighborhood. So we started walking around their neighborhood, and literally a girl shorter than me rushed out of nowhere and just jumped on me and like knocked me down on the sidewalk and started hitting me. And I come from a very nonviolent family. Okay. We didn't even get spanked. Maybe we did before I had consciousness, but I don't think we did. I just very much, my mother was one of those who would talk to you and kind of tell you that the way that you're acting is not helpful to other people. So I would suggest that you don't act that way. And it was like, whoa, guilt, but not guilting you, but making you feel guilty about infringing upon the rights of others. That's how my mother parented. So we weren't hit. And this is random girl running out. And I even remember her name, Gina. I learned that much later. Came out and started wailing on me. My sister ran into the house to get my mom. My brother tried to help, but he's like 4 years younger than me and couldn't do anything. Plus he was very skinny. And so he ran into the house too. And I'm laying on the floor saying, stop, and trying to fend off blows, not even thinking about hitting back. It was just such a crazy, very quick thing that happened. And all of a sudden, my brother came out with this large samurai sword, which is crazy. He had it. It was a collectible sword that he'd gotten from my grandfather that was hanging on the wall. And it wasn't meant to actually hurt anybody, but it was old and it came from the Orient and had been purchased during a trip my grandparents had been on. Anyway, he comes out flailing, his arms and the swords up in the air, and this girl Gina ran away. Much later, we lived in that neighborhood for a while on the school bus. I found out who she was,
and had her killed. There's a happy ending to this, kids.
There is.
And the agency covered it up. Hey, real quick, you remember that Flat Earth asshole? He's been duking it out with John B. Wells, and he had the copyright strike removed from Johnny Wells, which was really, really great. Did you? I did not. I will tell you, this is an exclusive just for you, because it's over now, but I didn't want to get anyone worked up about it. I actually got a copyright strike recently.
Oh, what?
An actually full-blown copyright. You know who it was from?
Oh, gosh. No.
Take a guess. George Norrie. Coast to coast.
Of course. You're treading on his playground, his livelihood.
Well, no, I don't think it was that bad. What happened was, and I was really surprised because I thought it was going to be John B. Wells, because I'd made Flat Earth Enemy, and I'd included some quotes and some of his clips, but I didn't edit. I just put it as is. And so immediately when it came in, I was going, God, it's John B. Wells. But it wasn't. It was Coast to Coast, and this was back from May of 2015. That's how long ago I had actually talked to. I was interviewed by Coast to Coast all the way back in May of 2015, and what I think had happened was they hired some new intern at whoever the parent company is of Coast to Coast, Premier Networks, I think it was. And they didn't say, it was like, go through YouTube and take down anything that looks like, like it's a copyright infringement. The interesting thing was, out of all the interviews I've done, that was the only interview I didn't post, because they were the only ones that made me sign a waiver that said two things. One, you can't reproduce it. I said, all right, fine. And two, we can edit it any way we want and you can't say a thing. So if we want to chop up your stuff and take things out of context, we can do that. It's like, all right, fine. Don't care. So I didn't put the interview up. I just made a video, a 60-second, saying, just so you know, I can't reproduce this video. And if you want to go listen to it, you got to go to Coast or find somebody that downloaded it. But in the title, it said interview with Coast to Coast. And so whoever it was literally looked at the title, said, oh, it's got to be, and a picture of George Norrie in the thumbnail. Flagged it immediately.
Wow.
And so I countered. I go, guys, come on. If you're going to hit me for something that I did, not for something I didn't do. But I thought it was hilarious. Out of the 90-something interviews, literally the only one that I didn't put up the full-blown interview was him. I didn't put up any part of it. And so
if you put people's names in the title like you did.
Oh, they don't care.
No, but I mean, why they copyright struck you due to the fact that they thought the content was an interview, but it wasn't. Yeah. Just by the title alone.
You can do that. You don't even have to, if you're going after somebody, you don't have to watch the video. You can just assume things. And I think in most cases that was what happened.
What happened? You've had a copyright strike.
I just said you can counter it in YouTube. You can just say, if you think this is in error, please let us know. You file this out and you have to sign a digital thing saying, just so you know, you're signing a legal document saying that what it was didn't happen. And sure, they have X number of days to respond. And if they don't respond, you get it back.
Right.
And that was it. I knew I was in the right, but for a second there, here's the weird part. I go into, because I have all the interviews in a folder. I actually had the full-blown interview in a folder sitting on my machine. And I'm thinking of trying to give it to people without giving, because I know that if you put it up, you're going to probably get smacked for it. But I had it on my machine. I was going, I didn't put it up, did I? No, I didn't. But I'm 99% sure that I didn't put it up. But at the same time, it was sitting there in my folders going, and then I remember, it's like, oh yeah, I built it. And then I had second thoughts. Right. I was like, you know what? I don't want to, because it's Coast to Coast. I don't want to have them on my bad side, but it's still out on their website. It's still part of their archives, but very interesting.
You can be interviewed, and everything you said and your presence can be taken by them and in their archives. However, you are not allowed to reproduce what they did, even if you don't monetize it.
No, because they are a subscription site, and because of that, I
all
would
right,
be
all right.
taking,
You agreed to. So,
yeah.
but the copyright strike was unfair, and you got it lifted, and it didn't.
Got lifted. Now my
make
robes
you.
have been washed clean, and so yeah, now I'm pristine again.
All right, good. Good to know.
Oh, well, go figure.
You see what's going on in the Jason Skopolek. I know I said that wrong. Is in the chat. So hello. I'm really bad sometimes at people's last names. That I'll find Jason Skopiliak. There you go. Flat Earth Math is here, and he says he's getting a prescription for happy pills.
Nice.
Let's see. We've got Super One Green with a question here. Please talk about why big shots went to Antarctica recently. Love to hear your take, Mark.
Where do you want to start? You'd have to start at the beginning of 2016, where the chain reaction started when Leonardo DiCaprio went to the Vatican and was talking to the Pope, and he brought up flat Earth in passing, on video, which is why my logo for a while there was Hieronymus is Bosch painting of the Garden of Earthly Delights. And he mentions this. He's only got 15 minutes with the Pope. A-list, one of the highest A-listers in Hollywood, and you get 15 minutes with the Pope. And he mentions that. The Pope turns around and flies to Cuba, where he meets with the Russian Orthodox Pope that's down there. And then that guy flies to Antarctica, followed by a Russian armada that was supposedly carrying a mystical artifact, an ark of something, the Ark of Gabriel maybe. But then after that, you had more and more people that were going down there. Obama made a trip down to the southern part of South America. We don't know if he actually went. John Kerry, Secretary of State at the time.
U.S. Intelligence Director James Clapper flew there.
Yep. Kerry was down
to New Zealand.
Yeah, Kerry was down there on election night, which was weird. So you think Secretary of State, while his buddy Hillary Clinton is being, has a chance to be elected, why is he down in Antarctica? Who's the astronaut? John Glenn.
Wait, no, not John Glenn. Governor as well.
No, not John Glenn. Who's the other? Who's the
Buzz Aldrin?
Buzz Aldrin.
33-degree Mason.
Yep. Yeah. Quite a few people have made weird trips to Antarctica. Who are they paying homage to something? Are they witnessing something? I don't know, but there's no reason to go down there.
Guess who's going in 2017?
Who?
Vladimir Putin is supposed to be going in the Antarctic summer, which is
that is weird.
That's what to say anyway.
That is weird. So 2017 is going to shape up to be a really, really odd year.
So wait, did he already go? Wait, did he go?
Putin?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let me look that up.
Maybe.
Should
I read emails while you're looking up stuff?
To Antarctica. I do not think so, because he was supposed to go soon. Like I would think now. No, he's still going. It's still in the future. He had. There's been speculation about his health. So, from what I remember, he was supposed to go there in January, but he has not. Anyway, so
must be nice to be president for life.
I wonder why. I think Eric Dubé is president for life, isn't he?
Nice. Well, yeah. For the IFERS board.
Exactly. I was so pleased to make that joke. I'm so pleased with myself. I forgot what I was going to say.
It's not just, again, not to poke too much, because I'm not going to take too many shots at somebody. It's not just that he's president of his own society. He's also the admin for the site. So he is jury and executioner for that place. So if you go in and say something bad, like, I think Mark Sargent's a pretty nice guy, banned for life. Strike him with the ban hammer. Yeah, it's not good. And then you're out. And then he checks IPs, addresses, and it's not good.
Irk Childs is in our chat. Damethyl Tripped with Me says, ask Mark about the possible Amelia Earhart flat Earth conspiracy. I've heard that one before too.
Amelia Earhart world-renowned. What would she be considered? An explorer or just an aviator? We'll call her an aviator.
Both. She's both.
She was both.
She's an aviatrix.
Tried to aviatrix. Nice.
Yes.
She tried to fly around the world solo. And if the world was not a globe, if it was the FE model, then there's a chance if she was traveling quite a bit in the outer circle, otherwise known as the southern hemisphere, that the distances were off. And if her fuel points, she was going to fuel depots. If the fuel depot was not where she were supposed to be, if it was short or it was long, she's coming out, it's okay, I've got 100 miles to hit my fuel depot and it's actually 400 miles away, then she's got a ditch somewhere. And it's very possible that that's what happened to her. Why not? Mm. It's very, very feasible. So yes, Amelia Earhart, I don't think, get my time travel machine working, I think that her disappearance is tied to this in some way.
Jason Synthetic Dread said that everybody in Antarctica is visiting Hitler.
So. From the movie trailer Iron Sky 2, where Hitler is actually living in an underground journey to the center to the Earth cavern in Antarctica. Look up the trailer for Iron Sky 2. That's what he's talking about.
Martin says the Illuminati might have a thing for penguins. So,
funny. Who knows? There's some weird stuff down there.
Yes,
and we don't know. But I'm curious to see how many people go down in 2017.
Well, I mean, if Putin does, that's something big right off the bat.
Why? There's no reason for him to go down there.
Yeah,
there was no reason. There was no reason for the Russian or the Orthodox Pope from Cuba. I mean, Cuba is about climate-wise is about as far as you can get. And here he is taking pictures down there. Video. They filmed the whole thing, or at least the part that we're supposed to see, where he's standing around penguins and walking into that tiny church. Who knows? Maybe they have to pay homage to what's happening down there. Maybe whatever's going to happen is going to start there.
So you think there is a whatever that's going to happen? Sometimes I think that something's going to happen, something's going to break, something's going to change. But then I remember what's been going on ever since I became aware of things happening cyclically, which is things are always predicted to happen, like meteors, comets.
Yeah.
You name the thing, something bad. And what happens is nothing happens. The normal bad things we all deal with, like recently there was a tornado in, of all places, New Orleans East. Usually it's hurricanes there. I was there for Hurricane Katrina. But the normal bad things we all face, problems with our family, health, finances, jobs, car crashes, illnesses, natural disasters, storms and such. But the horrible things that people are saying, like FEMA coffins and all of these big events that will change the world, I sometimes think something's going to happen. And other times I think, no, nothing's ever happened. Nothing ever will. Flat Earth has been here forever and will continue to be here forever. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I hear you. But at the same time, everything you listed off there, here's the big difference between that list you rattled off and Flat Earth. And that is everything else there was a sinister, evil thing that it was always doom. That was the difference. FEMA camps. Oh, it's horrible. Everyone's going to be roped in the FEMA. There's an asteroid. It's 2012. It's Nibiru. It's take your pick. None of them had any sort of positive impact at all. The only exception being Flat Earth. Flat Earth is not just an idea. It is a game changer. And the resonance that it has been spreading with, and how many different ways can we go with this? I'll pick an easy one though, and that is I'll pick the most obvious, and that is the women that are involved in this. You didn't see that with how many women were getting really involved with the whole FEMA camp thing, or 2012, or Nibiru, or any of this other stuff. Women have a certain intuition, and I think a lot of them have a built-in BS detector, and it's really resonated with a lot of women from a positive standpoint. They look at it and they feel, yes, they go through the process, like they lose sleep, they get claustrophobic, their world gets turned upside down. But on the other side, the people come out on the other side of even being introduced to the flat earth concept, and they look and they say, you know what? It's a beautiful thing. If this thing can be released the right way, it has the potential to transform us. I'm not trying to be all metaphysical here, but figuratively transform us into something with a lot more potential.
Yvette is in the chat and says, wait, how are women tied into this? Oh, right. You all should listen to us.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, the conspiracy world is still 75 to 80% male, but the flat earth has not just not exaggerate, an amplified version of women in it, but they're willing to put themselves out there. That's the bigger difference. And well, I was going to save the other part. I will save the other part, but it's still very, very positive, and that for me is the big difference. And do I feel that something's coming? Yeah, of course I do. The only difference here is that you and I and a lot of the other people in chat, we've been waiting. We've been in it for a while now, even though it seems, time flies. We want it now. And I feel bad because, some of the people that are going to come into it the last minute, they'll say, I want the world changed now, and then it will. But I'm waiting patiently, but I have no doubt it's coming.
Well,
No doubt.
Emily Suzanne says, I love our beautiful flat earth, something from a woman's perspective. And Perrin Greenway is here as well. He mentions the fact that TV shows are dropping little hints about flat earth, and that's been going on for a while.
Yeah. The writers have to get their material from somewhere. And
right. They get it from reality.
Yeah.
Danny Flat Out is here and says there is no such thing as Satan. And the second biggest is the globe, meaning biggest lies being told. There is no Satan, and the second biggest is the globe. That from Danny Flat Out. Randolph Kane says everything in heaven and in earth and under the earth will be shaken, and it's started in the understanding of it already. So Kirk, Curious Life of a Flat Earther, says air bases in the north, none in Antarctica. And we've got Miss Magical 164 in the chat. And Flat Earth Heartline Realm says, so sick of manufactured scarcity. Wow, indeed, because this plane has everything that we need, but the powers that should not be are making sure that what is needed is not getting to people who need it. It's manufactured scarcity.
Yep.
Most definitely. But somebody here, I'm trying to scroll up in the chat to earlier comments. Somebody was talking about that regardless of whether or not you think something bad is going to happen, that being prepared just to help your family and friends with food and water, the whole prepper mentality might be something to consider. And that doesn't mean that we're going to be having an apocalypse or any of those other things. And it doesn't mean we're not going to. What it means is that just having enough food and water and such to help those around you. Good thing to do. So, Pale Queen says the Ark of Gabriel sounds scary. Real science fiction. Yeah, the Ark of Gabriel. When you read about that, you're like, what?
That story from the Middle East was really creepy. Initially, they wrote it off as a stampede that supposedly killed 1,000 men, 1,500 men, something like that. And then later you say, no, it was a lightning strike, and that it was a bizarre electrocution that sounded like metaphysical object. And so it could have been very, Raiders of the Lost Ark type stuff.
Yes. Fascinating. Let's see. Flat Earth Math is in the chat. I already mentioned that. Charles is a nice guy. And Nathan Oakley has said this before, that there are people who are not flat earthers, but they're still, as he puts it, sitting around the flat earth campfire. And if you consider right now, we're all sitting around the flat earth campfire. And from time to time, each individual is taking their turn at telling the stories around the campfire. And right now on The Secret Show, it happens to be us. And Dell of Beyond the Imaginary Curve was doing it earlier. Anybody doing a show is the storyteller around the campfire, although it's not stories. We're telling truths.
Well, yeah.
But it's true. There's people around our campfire at any given moment who aren't flat earthers, but they're still a part of the flat earth fam. And
That's a
Charles, the
great
flat Earth
analogy,
math is
actually.
one.
I like that analogy, and that is there's always a campfire going with the
Yeah.
flat Earth, and it's like, pull up a seat, youngster. Let me tell you a story about let me tell you, spin a tale for you. And as you get you first you hear it, it's like, oh, it's some crazy old guy telling a story about flat Earth. But the more he talks about it, the more you're starting to get sucked in, and then finally it's like, holy smokes, it's absolutely true.
Well, you can go on at a late night chat on like the Poncho Pete channel, and Vince is there, Poncho's there, Jibby Jedi is on. People are on at all times, all the time, doing something about flat Earth. And occasionally since I've been still working on my house, this room looks really nice and organized, right? You should see the rest of the house. It's sort of okay, but not that great. Working on it. And when I'm doing that sort of thing, it's usually in the evening. Like after this, I will be going to get something to eat and then getting back to it here. House, and because I'm a perfectionist, it's a curse and a blessing, one of those things. I'll listen to things. I'm not as much watching videos, so I'm listening to things. And so I'll listen to live shows, and I'll just go through what's live, Flat Earth Live, Now, Look. And if there's something, I'll just pop in for a minute. I won't go into chat. I'll just listen for a few minutes. And if it's something that I'm interested in, I'll say hello to chat and then keep listening. And other times I'll listen and it's something I'm not interested in, and then I won't make any comments and I won't thumbs it down just out of hatred. I'll just leave, go about my business. But there's something always going on, and it is addictive in a way, the whole flat Earth thing, the dysfunctional family that we have. And it's not all dysfunctional, but there's elements that are dysfunctional. But it's weird how think of Tim Osmond. Sorry to make you think of Tim Osmond, but think of Tim Osmond, if you will, sitting around our campfire with us. He is, maybe not in the show, but he is, because he's so truly addicted to flat Earth. Even if he rails against it, he can't escape. Even if he says always, I'm done, I'm out of here, I'm not doing any more flat Earth videos, I'm going to leave you alone. Boom, he's back. So he's part of our flat Earth family as well. He's like that crazy uncle. So
yeah, it is addictive because you're seeing the world. We've seen all the parallels with They Live, that 1980s movie with Rowdy Roddy Piper and is it David Keith or Keith David? David Keith was a singer, right?
David Keith,
the black actor in They Live, was that Keith David? Anyway,
Keith David
I know
would be
I know
a bad
the
name. So let's hope.
Well, anyway, so. But it's sort of like those glasses. Once you put them on, you keep taking them off and putting them on, and you keep comparing things that are out there. Once you know, you can't not know. That's the best part about flat Earth. Find me someone that can really go back to the globe once they've gone down this road.
We found a few.
Well,
but I think they had other issues.
Not from a scientific standpoint. Only from an emotional standpoint. It's like, no, they resolved it in their mind for other reasons, not scientifically. Fine. They may, or they weren't completely in flat Earth at all, and they were still hanging on to something, which some do. Are you
sure that it's this? I found a guy whose name is Keith David. He was born in Harlem. He is age 60. United States. Right. He went to Juilliard. Actor, singer, voice artist, comedian. And he's been in The Thing, Crash. There's something about Mary.
He was also in The Thing.
Okay, I don't see any listing of him being in They Live, though.
That's
How would that be listed?
It's got to be him. Because John Carpenter used him in The Thing.
All right.
In fact, those were the only two guys left alive. Was Kurt Russell and that guy at the end of the movie.
You know what? It's not even there.
That's weird.
He was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith as well. And, one of my favorite movies, Requiem for a Dream. That's a good one, too.
Yeah, I think he was in all those. Yeah, in fact, it's absolutely that guy. Because I remember he was the big drug dealer at the end of Requiem for a Dream.
You know what? It doesn't even list it. I'm looking at, by the way, I'm looking at Wikipedia. But it doesn't, maybe.
Why would he be missing that? It's a classic. That is.
Well, it also could be my context, but I literally don't see it there. So let me look again.
It's one of the finest overstated fight scenes of all time. That 10-minute fight in the back of the alley,
and it feels much longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, so much so that South Park did a recreation of it in one of their shows.
There it is. Keith David, Frank Armitage. That's who's in there. Roddy Piper, as you mentioned. So when you look it up on Wikipedia as the live, he's listed. But when you look up his name, Keith's name,
things get missed every once in a while. The point is that so it's Keith David.
Keith David, indeed. And I said that was a bad name.
It is a bad name. It is a bad name. But that's why I kind of remember
first names.
Juilliard, I had no idea.
Juilliard, yeah.
Makes sense though. Makes sense though. I really like him as an actor. When you put on the glasses, you're always fiddling with them because now you can look at the world differently. And why would you ever? And of course, you want to show people. That's the other thing. You want to do the Roddy Piper thing. It's like put on the glasses. That's really what we're doing all the time. Put on the glasses. No, I don't want to put on the glasses.
Get away from me.
So, that was the argument. It's funny because we poked fun at that movie because they got in this big brawl and he had to do this epic fist fight just to get him to put on the glasses. But we're running into way worse than that. People that will go months and never put on the glasses. They won't do it. It's the only defense. It's the only defense against FE, which is you don't put on the glasses. You refuse to put on the glasses. You make fun of the glasses.
Keith David Williams, according to Ridgeview, is the entire name. So that makes a lot more sense because he's not a guy with two first names. Somebody mentions the movie 13th Floor here. Let's see.
13th Floor, 1998.
Yeah,
same year as the Truman Show.
Yep, and it had
the cast. The cast wasn't super great, but it was pre-Matrix.
Randolph Kane says it's got a Flat Earth hidden storyline, perhaps.
Oh God, yes. In fact, you want to go mainstream media trivia with me? All right. 13th Floor was a remake of a 1975 German film called World on a Wire. You think 13th Floor was tough to do in 1998? Try to do that in the 70s in Germany. That's a tall order by any. And that movie, World on a Wire, was based on, I believe it was a 1960s book called Omicron 3. Basically, the concept is this: when you get to the point, when a civilization gets to a point where they can create a virtual reality world, which you can go into, the 13th floor. Once you can create that, who's to say you're not in one already? That's the big plot twist, which is once you're in there and it's so real, and then all of a sudden you come out of it and you're going, whoa. And that's been touched on in various different things. Like Star Trek Next Generation touched on it, where Picard and the crew was tricked into going into a hologram, which looked like the Enterprise. And when he got out, when the whole episode was done, Picard wasn't completely sure. He's like, computer and program, just to make sure that they weren't still in another version of the hologram, which is why I have suggested that no civilization can get to that point, because then you're blurring the lines between reality and playing God. Because if you can create your own reality, then and convince people they're in it, then it takes away the potency of the reality you're in. See what I mean?
Yes.
It makes it meaningless, basically. And so I don't think we can ever be allowed to get that far. Once you get that close, then I think
something happens.
Something's got to happen. You're not going to be allowed to.
We don't know what it is.
The thing. But the 13th floor is a great concept because it's that great plot twist. They're in a simulation where the non-player characters, the characters that are created, not the people that are logged in, but just people that are walking around in the simulation. Some of them figure out that it's a simulation, but the way they figured it out all of a sudden jogged the guy that was logged in. And so he logs out and tries to figure out if it's actually real. And it turns out it wasn't.
Wow.
And then it's like, okay, who's running this place? And then he had to figure out who those guys were. And got really weird.
The movie World on a Wire from the German director is very Stanley Kubrickian, I guess if that's the way to say it, or it's very like a novel by Philip K. Dick. And it was originally a TV show. and then it was made into World Unaware. The movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I did sit through the entire German version with the subtitles, and they did a pretty nice job for back in the 70s. But it was completely lost on the public because computers wasn't even a thing back in the 70s. Nobody owned a single computer. Apple computer hadn't even been out in the market yet.
Well, we've had a lovely show. Shall we check back into chat and
Sure.
see before we close things out and see if anybody's saying anything cool?
Sure.
Let's see. A bunch of people are saying cool
So I
things.
am going to do the Tinfoil Hat Club.
Yes, everyone was saying yes in chat. I forgot to read the report. There was like people were putting 1 for yes. Maybe one was
for
no.
yes? Why? Because they can't type yes?
Yeah.
There.
Let's see. Oh, Flat Earth Math says he just saw Arrival with Jeremy Renner. Thoughtful sci-fi.
It was
Didn't know
good.
anything about it.
It's good.
People in there greeting Yvette. Let's see. Alec Hollenhurst says something about 9/11 and Fukushima. So I don't know what that's about because it's so far back in chat, I wouldn't be able to trace it back. Let's see. Shane Corning says that nukes aren't real. Watch some YouTube vids. Now, you believe nukes are real. Everyone's got a different opinion on it.
I'm a big explosives guy. Remember I ran an illegal pyrotechnics company for a while and made explosives for the Native Americans back in the day. And so I'm a big fan. I know I'm good at chemistry.
But that doesn't mean that nuclear weapons are real. What about Fukushima? Is that a real event or a fake event?
Tough call. Don't know. But I will say this, whether or not the explosives include fission or if they are just some other chemical reaction, we've got some really, really, really high-powered explosives out there. If you think Nagasaki and Hiroshima were faked, fine. But I would challenge you to go watch the video. Here's the thing that I think would convince people. Other people say, no, it's totally special effects. Is go watch, again, if you haven't seen it already, Trinity and Beyond, narrated by William Shatner, which is all the atomic tests from the 1940s.
Why did they get a sci-fi actor, though, to narrate it?
No, why not? Well, remember the guy that put the film together, that made the documentary, was one of the guys from the Skywalker Ranch, one of George Lucas's people. So yeah, I know you say, well, it's a sci-fi guy that you produced it. It's like, yeah, I get it, but what I'm saying is the special effect technology from the 40s and the 50s wasn't that good.
True.
The explosives that were done, if you think forget about the nighttime blasts, check out at the very least the underwater test that was done in that harbor where they took a bunch of Navy ships, some captured World War II ships, and they detonated an underwater blast. That water column was gorgeous. And our special.
Doesn't mean it's nuclear, though, right?
It doesn't, but radiation we know is real. So if radioactive particles are real, then is it possible that you can weaponize it? Yes, I firmly believe you can. But it doesn't, for me, I don't get into many discussions with people about it because I'm into FE now. So fine, you don't believe in atomic weapons. I don't care. It doesn't affect my opinion on FE. Explosives are out there, really, really good ones. So if they're not fission, fine. Tell me what they are. Maybe you got a case, but
you're like very much okay. That's fine.
It's not going to affect me.
Flat Out Elected says, he said something really good, and it just moved. I hate when that happens. Oh, there it is. We are living in a satanic ritual, and nothing can be trusted. Now, whether or not you believe we're living in a satanic ritual, the part about nothing can be trusted, I'm with you on that. You have to look at everything with discernment, every single thing.
Well, that's a George Carlin line. George Carlin said, I don't have many rules, but one of them is this. Don't believe anything. And he said it twice. Anything that you hear from the government. Just don't do it. And an extension of that would be mainstream media. If there is a story on mainstream media, you've got to look at it and say, okay, other than the fluffy stuff, why are they running this story? You've got to look at everything that comes out.
Here's something interesting. Speaking of not believing everything that you've heard, and I've never heard this before, Yvette says, the joke's on all of us. Aluminum is useful and scientifically proven to block a lot of bad energy. And we're always told aluminum is bad. There's even baking soda that's advertised as being aluminum free, aluminum in your deodorant, all the alcohols, Alzheimer's, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I remember
Faraday cages as well come to mind. So thank you for that, Yvette. A couple of people are saying that they've got Trinity and Beyond on Blu-ray. Arwen says it's the Tesla death ray. Ridgeview says he's seen the one with Bill Shatner doing the narration and said it was really good. Felix I Am says she liked it as well. So Tyne Eldridge or Teen Eldridge. Hey, Tyne Eldridge. Is it Tyne, Tine, like a tine on a fork? I want to know how to pronounce your name right.
Probably should ask him.
Tyne. So put
Have
that
him
in the
spell
chat.
it phonetically.
I think it's a he. It might be a she. Gosh. Hard to tell because I can't see. It's a tiny little picture. In this chat I'm looking at on my phone, it says, I think we can trust our hearts. So, yeah.
Again, which is why the community is what it is. We see what's out there, and you've got to ask, we're coming up on, again, the clue is 2 years now, and you've got 140 something episodes in. Why this thing has not been shot out of the sky yet? It hasn't even been close. No scientist has put this thing to bed, and you'd think that a lot of them would have a vested interest. NDT said on live television, pre-tape television, that it is the beginning of an anti-intellectual movement that could bring about the end of civilization as we know it. You'd think that if it was that critical, they would shut this thing down, unless there's more to it.
Anti-intellectual movement.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that a great term? Anti-intellectual movement.
Teen Eldridge, not Tyne, so Teen and a she. She says she's a 61-year-old grandmother. So I got that all wrong. So Flat Earth Math is in here too. It says the most powerful fireworks, the loudest booms currently made use aluminum as the number one ingredient. Potent stuff when combined with potassium perchlorate. Yeah,
actually, it's not the most. It's 1 part aluminum, 1 part sulfur, 2 parts potassium chlorate. Well, that's some of the stuff I was using anyway. So, but yeah, aluminum is the metal that you're burning. Most fireworks, just so you know, this is one of my things, is you're burning a lightweight metal very, very quickly. So you have the lightweight metal like aluminum, then you have sulfur as a buffer to keep it from getting ignited by static, and then you have an oxidizer like potassium nitrate, potassium perchlorate, and that it burns really, really fast. And that's what creates fireworks. High explosives is a completely different thing.
Ask the expert. He's been arrested for it.
Sorry. Yes, I have been arrested for that. So
somebody named Flat Earth, or not somebody, Flat Earth Crush is talking about baked potatoes, which I actually like. I like potatoes in general. Being that I am one, I like them as well. P. Brooks says, thanks for mentioning Fukushima. So I appreciate everybody being here in chat. Once again, thanks and for being here as well if you've been watching it live. And also, I want to thank Stock Jockey as well. He says, Mark is not a felon. You're not a felon,
Mark. Is that a question?
Well, does it make you a felon that you've been arrested?
Well, what is when you're by the government? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So
Mark is a felon.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a local thing. No, it was, I was, you know the story.
Yeah, I know the story.
Oh, no, if you guys want to hear it, no, I'm not going to go over it now. If you guys want to hear the story of what happened to me, you can go watch Strange World episode 1.
I remember watching that or listening to it. Not watching because it's not video really. Yeah. I remember listening to that and wondering, who is this guy? This guy's really fun and interesting. And then later I ended up writing you. And then later we ended up talking. And then later I told you I was doing a YouTube channel. And then later you showed up in my comment section saying, great job. Very generic. And then later I called you I wrote you or whatever. I called you at the number provided.
You who you were.
Yes. And we talked for like an hour or more and we haven't stopped.
No, we haven't. The firework thing real quick though, if anyone wants to know not exactly what not to do in college, but I still will defend myself and say, look, if you're not getting into trouble in college, you're not trying hard enough. And that's where I was going with this. And so, but yeah, I do it at the end. And I said this then, and I will say this now. If I had to do it over again, would I change anything? No, I wouldn't. It was a great learning experience. And, granted, I got lucky a few times, knock on wood, but yeah,
I feel the same way about my life, and especially recently, some things that happened to me recently. I would not change a moment of them, even if things didn't work out as I expected, because I learned a lot about things and people, and now I have they live glasses on about people.
Yeah.
So I want to say hi to Stranger XX. I failed to say hi to him earlier as well.
So next week is when we get to finally cut loose and start really getting into it.
Everybody cut loose. Like
no, don't. Okay, one, I am not that song is
I
so
don't like that movie Footloose.
Whoa.
Kevin Bacon, Kyra Sedgwick,
John Lithgow.
I snuck into that movie. It's the only time I've ever done something that I remember that was sort of theftish. My sister and I were seeing another movie, and it was in the day, and it was a long time ago when it was in the movie theater, Footloose. And we stayed in the theater and then went to another theater and watched Footloose. So.
Yeah. It's a iconic 80s movie, but the Kenny Loggins song, they've just played it so much.
Horrible. Just like the theme to the movie Titanic with Celine Dion. It was like, I'm going to pull my hair out if I hear it again.
Oh my God. I remember in Colorado, the salons, because there was salons, there was a lot of women in the salons, and that freaking soundtrack was on all the time. I just, wanted to firebomb everything. So yeah, next week we're gonna cut loose and start really
talking about the thing that we can't talk about.
Yeah, start finally building this thing up, and it'd be very exciting. I can't wait. I've got
a few people have messaged me saying, please tell me. And then I had a couple people tell me what they thought it was, and they were right. Although all I sent back was a smile face in response. So
I don't think we can really overstate it though, because it is what everyone wants, whether they know it or not. So
that's true. It's what everyone wants.
It is.
They know it or not.
It is. It's and it gives people a chance to really. Well, I don't want to get into it too much.
Exactly.
But I got plans.
So, do you have anything cool coming up? You just did Strange World Tuesday night on
I just did
radio,
that,
and then an interview with a host from Boston on it was AM radio, right?
AM radio. And
what's up next?
Then I've got a couple more lined up, and I'm looking at that sheet right now, but I don't want to give out names yet. But there's 2 or 3 more interviews to come down the pipe, and this tinfoil hat one is going to happen really, really quick. It's either going to happen on Friday, or it might even happen tomorrow. And then after that, we'll just see. Once this thing starts rolling, that's the only thing that's going to be on my mind for a while.
Yes.
So, because you saw what I've done with things in the past, so it's going to be fun.
I've got actually no interviews scheduled for this week. I did have one, but it got postponed, so that'll be at another time.
Got it.
But I am going to continue reading Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Oh, cool.
And that'll be on Saturdays. I was reading it last Saturday, and my contacts and my eyes, it wasn't focusing, and we'll try again this coming Saturday. And I am meeting with my eye doctor and a bunch of other people on Friday for a dinner party. I'm friends with my eye doctor. So they're having a BYOB or a wine dinner actually for a bunch of different people. And I'm invited. It's the first one that I'm going to. I've been invited to others, but I'm going. And while I bring some vegan wine with me, I will be sitting next to him and saying, so look at my eyes. Did you see that bloodshot? Reading the menu. And then hopefully he'll say,
really? You're going to do that?
Well, I mean, I don't think this prescription is exactly right. So anyway.
Doctor, it hurts when I do this.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So that'll be me talking to an eye doctor at a Italian restaurant, drinking wine. And maybe I will come away with a better prescription, or will come away totally confused. I have no idea.
Nice.
We'll see. Anyway, it's been lovely. It's been fantastic.
Yes.
I've had a good time. One more last check and chat and see if there's anything else here going on. We've got Tesla's Apple saying hello. I like when people come in at the last minute. So like, I do appreciate you being here. And let's see. Plasma John Doe. I think I said that before already. And I mentioned Stock Jockey. Frank, is here. Bob from Glowbusters has showed up. So, hey. And others.
And others.
Yeah. So
kind of like the Gilligan's Island thing, and the rest.
Exactly.
And then Marianne put it because they left out the professor and Marianne. And it was only two.
Marianne.
Yeah, well, they had to rewrite that because those two got really angry. It's like, what the hell are we?
I always thought the professor was cute. I was young, but I thought he was cute.
There's not that many cast members. You have to list them all.
And the rest, meaning, the random islanders that attack them with blow.
No.
Guns.
Exactly. No, and the rest because they ran. I don't know. Who knows? They were. It was on a Friday. They had to finish the song. So instead of before Professor and Marianne, it was and the rest.
Yeah.
And so the actors that played that, they said, "What? Why in the world would you just make us and the rest? There's only two people."
And the woman who played Ginger demanded some kind of special, her name said in a special way, something. She was very...
Tina Louise.
Tina Louise was supposedly not a very nice person, although I don't really know. She's still around. And actually, I would play Gilligan's Island with my sister, and I would be Ginger.
Shocker.
That sounds crazy.
Seriously.
But she had red hair, I have red hair, and my sister has reddish brown hair, and she was Marianne, and we would play Gilligan's Island. I don't remember how we played Gilligan's Island, but supposedly we did. So.
Making cars and radios out of coconuts.
Exactly. All right, everyone. Myself and my insane sweater, Mark Sargent and his very sane baseball cap.
Yep. It's Canadian.
It is? What's it say?
It is a salmon recovery program.
Salmon recovery. What does that mean? Does that mean fishing for salmon?
It's a fishing. It's a fish. Yeah.
We've recovered the salmon from the water. Now let's eat it.
Honestly, I don't know. I just happened upon it and it's like, okay.
If the hat fits, wear it.
Exactly.
And on that note, we'll see you next Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. I'm stealing that from you because you said that last night on Strange World. Nice. And hey, we'll see you again next time for the secret show. And this concludes episode 143. I'm Patricia Steere. It's Mark Sargent. No CGI cat sightings this time. We'll see you again next time and keep it flat.